Welcome back to thecrochetcrowd.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today's tutorial we are going to be working with this. This is the Catherine wheel stitch, but this is a different formulation than what we've done in other tutorials. Now I got thinking to myself, and I've done this before, I just haven't really recorded it, is that I have the Catherine wheel stitch just like so, and you can see that the circles come up and we have our 3 single crochets. There's other tutorials available on how to do this, exactly this sample. And I got thinking to myself, what happens if we remove some of those interiors just like so and make them more so that they're actually just kind of circles joining onto each other instead. So this is, this is more like a compressed version of the Catherine wheel stitch. So without further ado, let me get you started. We're gonna be using a size 6mm size J crochet hook today. Red Heart Super Saver is my yarn of choice for this tutorial, and let me just take you through the ins and outs of learning how to do this. To start with, the circles are all made with shells, and so we basically have 2 rows that equal 1 circle. So we come across and we do all of shells here, and these are 7 together, and these are double crochets, and then we just have 1 single crochet and then 7 together. And then on top we have the 7 going into the center of that section there, and there's 7 going up over top, joining then with the single crochet. The reality with this one is that whatever happens on the bottom must happen to the top. So if there's 7 double crochets here, there must be 7 double crochets on the top. Now where everybody screws up on these kind of ideas is the ending of where to finish, because when I did this when I was 14 of a similar example, is that I kept getting my edges wrong because I wasn't really kind of following the formulation, because you're 14, you know, barely can read at that point. So what we have here is that we always have 7, and I'm gonna say this is like a line of water. This is underneath the water. This is the horizon if you're looking at a sunset. So there's 7 rays of light. 1, 2, or sorry, there's 4 rays of light. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So on the top here there is going to be 1 that comes straight across, which is part of the joining here. We don't count that one, but then there's 4 rays of light, 1, 2, 3, and 4 right on top of that. So if there's 7 down here, that means that there's 7 on top. So when you pull it apart, you can see that there's a horizontal line right in the center that we do not count, and you can see that throughout your project. So if you can match that and get that right, then you're completely correct. On the in between there's always 1 single crochet only on this example, so right in the middle that there's only 1 single crochet. So if you happen to put 2 single crochets on the end, you know that your circles are gonna be out of alignment. So without further ado, let's stop talking and let's get hooking. Let's grab your yarn right now and get started. So let's get started. We're going to create a slip knot. We know how to do those. If you don't, we have more tutorials available on learning crochet from the basics. So what we have here is that we have 1 on our hook that does not count as 1. To make what I have already shown you, the compressed like Catherine wheel, you always have to have groups of 6. So we're going to start off with, remember this doesn't count as 1 that's on there, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we determine if it's long enough. If it's not, we do another 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then we determine again, and you keep doing this. You can lay this down on top of a bed or a couch or anything that you want to make in order to get to the right size that you need. So I'm gonna go one more group, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and when you get to the end of the chain that you want, so you lay it down, you just have to add 2 more. 1, 2. So this is one of those great projects where you don't need to figure out the chain. You can just lay it down on top of something in order to get to the size that you want. So without further ado, let's move along to your next row. Let's begin moving back across the chain that we just created, and we're going to go second chain from the hook. So 1 and 2, turn that over and get that back hump of the stitch. It just makes a lot nicer look. So we're going to single crochet the first one, and now we're going to start in doing like the half moon going up over top. You will notice that on the examples is that when you start there's a half moon shape coming out, or a half sun coming out of the water, and then when you finish, then you'll finish with the underneath the water to make it square. That's a choice, that's up to you. So without further ado, so we got our single crochet in first. We're going to skip over 2 chain and going over to the 3rd, and we're going to put 7 double crochets into that same stitch. So 1, 2, and 3, 4, and here comes my yarn ball. 5, and 6, and 7. So once we have our 7 in, we're just gonna stretch that back out because you might have pulled on it like I did, and we just simply count over. So we skip 2, 1, 2, and go to the third for 1 single crochet, like so. So let's continue across the remainder of this chain. To carry on, you're going to skip 2 more chain and go to the third one over. So unlike the original Catherine wheel stitch where you have the 3 spaces of single crochet, this one only has 1 so that the circles look more joined to each other. So, and we're putting 7 double crochets into that same stitch. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So let's stretch this back out. So we're gonna skip over 2 more, 1 and 2, go to the third for 1 single crochet, and let's get that last one in because I'm about to end up, and we're just gonna skip over 2, go to the third, and we're gonna put in 7 more double crochets. So it's a really easy pattern to get a hold of it. I think of the compressed this is the like more of a compressed version of the circles getting closer to each other. This one's easier to follow. There's less room for errors as well. So that's a choice that's up to you when you want to make your particular project. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we have 7, and then the final stitch, so you're gonna skip over 2 and go to the third, which is the last stitch, for 1 single crochet, and we're going to fasten off then because we're ready for a color change at this point. So that's a single crochet. To fasten off, all you just need to do is just trim your yarn like so, and just wrap it around the hook and pull through and leave that straggler on there, and let's get our next color up and I'll show you what to do next. Let's begin our next color. I'm going to use more of an olive green, and I'm gonna start off with the slip knot first. So I'm just gonna grab my project and I'm gonna see where I finished off, and I can see this is where it is. Okay, and I wanna put that straggler down on top of the line, and I wanna join it into the single crochet that we just left off with. To get our strings all lined up together perfectly, and just pull through and just join it. So now we're going to chain up 3, 1, 2, and 3, and let's grab our stragglers and keep those down on top of the line. So remember what I said in the beginning about the sunlight, there was 4 rays of light. So this is 1 ray of light, we need to do 3 more. So we're just doing a double crochet together. So we're just put in, pull through 2 and hold. So we wrap, putting into the stitch, pull through 2 and hold, and we want to do that so that there's a total of 4 loops on your hook. Okay, so we can see 4 rays of light now, and we pull through all of them and then chain 3. 1, 2, and 3, and then the next stitch that's available is just a single crochet. So there's only ever 1 single crochet that separates these circles. I'm gonna let the stragglers fall in behind for the remainder of this line. So to begin the next circle, it's gonna be a full semicircle. Underneath is that we need to start off and chain 2, 1 and 2, and then coming into the next stitch we want to start collecting stitches. So we're gonna pull through, put in, pull through 2 and hold, and we keep doing that so that there's 8 loops on the hook. There will be 7 double crochets in total. So why will there be 8 loops if there's only 7? And the reality is that you have to start off with the one that comes from where we chain 2, so that is your 8th one. So what I just do is I keep collecting until I can see 8. I use my finger and I say, okay, there's 4, there's 3, and it's just you just train your eyes to do that, and it will make it easy than going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we want to, once you have your 8, pull through all of the 8, okay, and then chain 3. So 1 is to lock, 2 and 3 coming to the next stitch available on the top of the horizon of the sun. Pull, do a single crochet, and then let's repeat this again. So we chain 2 coming in, and we start collecting the next 8 loops with double crochets together. And this is 7 double crochet together, but we are looking for 8 loops left on the hook. So make sure you just complete these double crochets all together, so you just don't like go in and say, okay, well there's 8 but I'm not finished that last one. So we want to make sure we get them all. So I go, okay, there's 4, that's 8, pull through all 8, and then we chain 3. So 1 is to lock, 2 and 3, and then we come down on top of the sun again for the next stitch. So here is the end of this side. Remember there's 4 rays of light on the ends. So in this case what we want to do is just chain 2 like we normally would, and then we just collect the remaining 4 stitches that are left. And there should be 5 loops on your hook because that includes that first one. And the reason why there's a 5 on this side and not this side is because this side is where we started. So let's pull through all of those loops and lock with 1 chain. We're not gonna fasten off at this time. We're just simply gonna turn the work, and now we're going to do the remaining of the sun that's above the water. So these are the circles on top. To begin, we're just going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. There's 4 rays of light. Okay, this is the horizon line. So this is one of the rays of light, so you only need 3 more, which are 3 more double crochets. My analogy is just more for you to understand, to have a visualization. So I know it's not very technical. Once you have your 4, single crochet into the other single crochet that's existing on the line below. Okay, now you're going to start the next semicircle, and it's gonna be complete going into where everything is joining, and you just go completely right into that center point, and it's gonna be 7 double crochets. So one row we're doing all the collecting of stitches to make the underside, and in this one we're just putting in the double crochets into the same stitch to form the half moon shape, or the shell that is on top. So we have 5, 6, and 7. Once you have your 7 in, you're just going to single crochet to the next single crochet that's available to you, and do the next one. And we're doing 7 double crochets again into that center. So there is 5, 6, and 7. And then we come down, we come to the next single crochet that's available to you. Easy to remember. And now this is the other side. There's 4 rays of light. There's 4 double crochets. This is the horizon line that we don't worry about, and this time it's just going to be 4 double crochets instead. And we're going to fasten off once we get our 4 in, and bring back our other color to start. So here is our 4th done. So we're done this one. Let's weave off the yarn, or finish off the yarn like so. Pull through the loop, and let's begin the next color. So let's turn your work first. So that's what it looks like so far. To begin the next color, we're just going to start off with a slip knot. So the reason why I'm telling you that you cannot just repeat what you already know is that now this time we're starting off on the top of the horizon sun and not just down by the middle. Okay, so we're on the top of here. So on the top then, what we already know is that right in the middle on the below we had the single crochet, and the single crochets exist in the top of the 7th one, so that there's 7, so that the one number 4 right in the middle is the one that has the single crochet. So just put in a single crochet into the first one. We're just going to join it first, and then chain 1, and then single crochet, and then we keep everything in balance. So we're going to start off with doing the underside of the sun first. We're going to chain 2, so you know how to do this already, and we start collecting until we get a total of 8 loops. See how I'm just putting those stragglers in as I'm going? It's easier to hide them in now than it is to leave them out and have to worry about it later. It's a little bit of a pain to get started sometimes, but it is well worth the effort because it's more of a pain afterward if you have a whole afghan with these hanging out. So we have 7 so far. This is the 8th. Pull through all 8. Okay, and now we chain 3. So 1 is to lock, 2 and 3, and then we come onto the top of the next semicircle, and then we begin again. So chain 2 and begin, and start collecting till you have 8 loops on your hook. So now I'm really concentrating. So once you get into the rhythm of this, it works along really quickly, and it makes for a nice solid thing. Get all 8, pull through, chain 3, so 1 is to lock, 2 and 3, and then we're back on the top of the next semicircle, and this is the final semicircle that we have here. So 1, 2 and is to start, and then we start collecting again. Okay, so we want total of 8 loops. So but if you did it right, there should only be 1 stitch left. So I got 4 and 4, there it is, and I have 1 left, so I know that I'm in balance, pulling through. So chain 3, 1 is to lock, 2 and 3, and then we just single crochet into the final. So we're just gonna turn our work and start our next row. So to start our next row, this time we're doing the circles above. Okay, so this time we're going to chain up 1 single crochet to match the single crochet that's there, and then we immediately start putting in 7 double crochets into the middle of the row below. So it's 2, 3, 4, oh I missed the center, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Okay, and then we stretch over to the next single crochet there, and then we start again the 7. So now you know how to start each one of the rows depending on where you are. So sometimes you'll be at the top of your semicircle, sometimes you'll be in the center point coming, so you gotta fill in the bottom and then do the top. As long as you know where exactly you're starting the project when it comes to each row, it makes for a lot of sense. So you can just keep going back and forth now, and you know all the steps, and you will find that the stitch works up really quickly, and you will notice that all the circles are really close together instead of being spaced out like it was in the original, and that's how you would make basically a compressed version, just like so. On behalf of the crochetcrowd.com, I'm your host Mikey, celebrating creativity with you today. Until next time, we'll see you.